The history of American democracy through its presidents, 1789 to 2025, the founding era, 1789 to 1825, George Washington, 1789 to 1797, the nation's first president, unanimously elected. He set crucial precedents such as the two-term limit and the peaceful transfer of power. John Adams, 1797 to 1801, the first president from the Federalist Party. He faced tensions with France and signed the controversial Alien and Sedition Acts. Thomas Jefferson, 1801 to 1809, a Democratic Republican. He doubled U.S. territory with the Louisiana Purchase and emphasized limited government. James Madison, 1809 to 1817, known as the father of the Constitution, he led the nation during the War of 1812 against Britain. James Monroe, 1817 to 1825, his presidency was called the era of good feelings. The Monroe Doctrine asserted U.S. influence in the Americas. Democracy expands, 1825 to 1861. John Quincy Adams, 1825 to 1829, promoted infrastructure and education but faced political opposition. Andrew Jackson, 1829 to 1837, championed the common man and expanded democracy, but also enforced harsh policies like the Trail of Tears. Martin Van Buren, 1837 to 1841, his presidency was marred by the Panic of 1837, a severe economic depression. William Henry Harrison, 1841, died just 1 month into office, the shortest presidency in U.S. history. John Tyler, 1841 to 1845, asserted presidential power by opposing his own party's agenda. James K. Polk, 1845 to 1849, oversaw vast territorial expansion through the Mexican-American War. Zachary Taylor, 1849 to 1850, a war hero whose sudden death brought Millard Fillmore, 1850 to 1853, into office. Franklin Pierce, 1853 to 1857, his policies worsened tensions over slavery. James Buchanan, 1857 to 1861, failed to prevent the secession crisis, setting the stage for the Civil War. Civil War and Reconstruction, 1861 to 1877, Abraham Lincoln, 1861 to 1865, preserved the Union, issued the Emancipation Proclamation, and led the U.S. through the Civil War. Assassinated in 1865. Andrew Johnson, 1865 to 1869. His lenient approach to the South after the Civil War led to clashes with Congress, first president to be impeached. Ulysses S. Grant, 1869 to 1877, a Civil War general who fought for Reconstruction and civil rights for freed slaves, though corruption scandals hurt his administration. Industrial America and Political Shifts, 1877 to 1901. Rutherford B. Hayes, 1877 to 1881, ended Reconstruction, pulling federal troops out of the South. James A. Garfield, 1881, assassinated after only a few months in office. Chester A. Arthur, 1881 to 1885, advocated for civil service reform. Grover Cleveland, 1885 to 1889, 1893 to 1897, only president to serve 2 non-consecutive terms. Benjamin Harrison, 1889 to 1893, supported protective tariffs and expanded the Navy. William McKinley, 1897 to 1901, led the U.S. to victory in the Spanish-American War, assassinated in 1901. The Progressive Era, 1901 to 1921, Theodore Roosevelt, 1901 to 1909, a reformer, he busted corporate monopolies, expanded national parks, and built the Panama Canal. William Howard Taft, 1909 to 1913, continued reforms but was more conservative. Woodrow Wilson, 1913 to 1921, guided the U.S. through World War I and proposed the League of Nations, though America never joined. The Roaring Twenties and Great Depression, 1921 to 1933, Warren G. Harding, 1921 to 1923, promised a return to normalcy. After World War I, his administration was marred by scandals. Calvin Coolidge, 1923 to 1929, presided over economic prosperity, known for small government policies. Herbert Hoover, 1929 to 1933, in office when the Great Depression began, widely blamed for its worsening. The New Deal and World War II, 1933 to 1945, Franklin D. Roosevelt, 1933 to 1945, only president to serve 4 terms. Launched the New Deal during the Depression and led America in World War II. Post-war America, 1945 to 1961. Harry S. Truman, 1945 to 1953, ended World War II with the atomic bombings, launched the Marshall Plan, and began Cold War containment. Dwight D. Eisenhower, 1953 to 1961, a World War II general, oversaw economic prosperity, interstate highways, and early civil rights enforcement. Civil rights and turmoil, 1961 to 1977. John F. Kennedy, 1961 to 1963, inspired a generation with his vision, faced the Cuban Missile Crisis, assassinated in 1963. Lyndon B. Johnson, 1963 to 1969, passed landmark civil rights laws and launched the Great Society, but Vietnam War overshadowed his presidency. Richard Nixon, 1969 to 1974, opened relations with China and ended U.S. involvement in Vietnam, but resigned after Watergate. Gerald Ford, 1974 to 1977, took office after Nixon's resignation, pardoned Nixon, which was controversial. Modern America, 1977 to 2001. Jimmy Carter, 1977 to 1981, promoted human rights, faced economic troubles and the Iran hostage crisis. Ronald Reagan, 1981 to 1989, conservative icon, expanded the military, cut taxes, and pressured the Soviet Union to collapse. George H. W. Bush, 1989 to 1993, oversaw the end of the Cold War and the Gulf War. Bill Clinton, 1993 to 2001, presided over economic prosperity, signed NAFTA, but was impeached, acquitted, after a scandal. 21st Century Challenges, 2001 to 2025, George W. Bush, 2001 to 2009, president during 9/11, launched wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. Oversaw 2008 financial crisis. Barack Obama, 2009 to 2017, first African American president, passed the Affordable Care Act and led recovery from the Great Recession. Donald Trump, 2017 to 2021, a populist outsider, emphasized America First policies, impeached twice, acquitted both times. Joe Biden, 2021 to 2024, oversaw pandemic recovery efforts, managed foreign policy challenges, including Ukraine war, and focused on infrastructure and climate policy. Donald Trump, 2024 present. He won the election and became new President of United States to continue with America First policies. Globe legacy of American democracy. Since 1789, American democracy has grown from a small republic of 13 states to a global power of 50 states. Across wars, crises, reforms, and progress, each president has shaped the trajectory of U.S. history. The peaceful transfer of power, even in times of division, remains the core strength of American democracy.